Visual Radio.
Good evening and welcome to the news on Yes101. I'm Rithmini De Silva. In local news, President Ranil Wickremesinghe to address the 78th UN General Assembly. Malaysia King invites Sri Lanka President on state visit. In news overseas, India suspends visas for Canadians as row escalates. And in cricket, Jason Roy turns down England call-up. Tom Cadmo added to squad. The news in detail. Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe will address the 78th United Nations General Assembly later this evening in New York, USA. The UN General Assembly, which opened earlier this week, will come to a close during the weekend. President Ranil Wickremesinghe met with Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, to discuss vital economic matters. President Wickremesinghe also addressed the high-level dialogue on financing for development at the United Nations 78th General Assembly in New York. Meanwhile, His Majesty the King of Malaysia has extended a formal invitation to the President of Sri Lanka to engage in a state visit to Malaysia in 2024. According to the President's Media Division, President Ranil Wickremesinghe accepted this invitation and has expressed his intent to schedule the visit during the early months of the upcoming year, specifically in either January or February. The King's invitation was personally conveyed by the Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim during bilateral discussions on the sidelines of the UNGA in New York. During their meeting, the Malaysian Prime Minister expressed a strong desire to bolster economic ties between the two nations. On related news, Sri Lanka's opposition leader raised concerns in Parliament today over the fact that ruling party MPs were accompanying the President to the UN General Assembly in New York instead of high-ranking government officials. He said given that Sri Lanka is currently experiencing a financial crisis, it is amusing that public funds are being wasted on MPs who bankrupted the nation. Chief Government Whip and Minister Prasanna Ranatunga termed the opposition leader's comments as nonsense, urging that Sajid Premadasa should stick to the agenda of the day, which is to debate the Easter Sunday terror attacks. In other local news, Sri Lanka police said that the assassination of two men in Gurupasgoda Ihalathalduwa in Avisavela was orchestrated by an underworld gangster identified as Mana Ramesh. Police spokesperson SSP Nihalathalduwa told Newsfirst that Mana Ramesh had already fled the country. Armed gunmen opened fire at around 11 p.m. yesterday, targeting a group that was travelling in a three-wheeler in Gurupasgoda Ihalathalduwa in Avisavela. The injured men were admitted to the Avisavela hospital and two of them died upon admission. All four men were residents of Thalduwa and the deceased were aged 27 and 36. In news overseas, India has suspended visa services for Canadian citizens amid an escalating row over the killing of a Sikh separatist on Canadian soil. Visa service provider BLS posted a message from India's mission blaming operational reasons for the decision. Tensions flared this week after Canada said it was investigating credible allegations linking India with the murder of the separatist leader. India angrily rejected the allegation, calling it absurd. And in sports, Jason Roy has turned down the chance to play in the remainder of England's one-day series against Ireland, with Tom Cadmo called up instead. Uncapped Somerset batter Cadmo replaces Joe Root, who will rest for the last two matches against Ireland before the World Cup. Opener Roy was dropped from the World Cup squad in favour of Harry Brook. He could yet be asked to be a reserve for the World Cup squad, with a decision on that yet to be made. That's all the news for today. For the latest updates on what's happening here in Sri Lanka and across the world, subscribe to Newsfirst SMS News Alerts. For instructions on how to do so, visit our website www.newsfirst.lk. You can also visit our website for the details of these stories and much more. For videos and other information, you can follow us on our social media platforms. Have a pleasant evening and good night.
Visual Radio.